All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're live again. Apparently, we have gone over to the episode number 11. I didn't really expect it to go over 11. I always thought whenever I start a podcast, it'll just roll out at 7. But we're back on episode number 11, and this is going to be a very good episode because, frankly, we have so many stories to tell. We had a last episode of the podcast with another guest. I'm sure you guys have seen it and you have enjoyed it with XMAC, and it was a great episode. But today, we're coming back to the podcast of awesomeness. Last episode was quite good. It was a pure entertainment with the CEO of the company. And this episode, we're going back to the roots of the podcast, which was the main reason why I started the podcast, is to highlight, professional wrestlers from different regions of the world and how they started their journey and how everything went on and how basically we got started and everything. So we're back again, and in this episode, I'm pleased to announce that the guest we have, she has been around for pretty much a long time, over a decade now, if I say so. She's been wrestling all over the place. Right now, she's in France. She's born in Sri Lanka. So I'm gonna get online, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause. I don't know if people can applaud on the live feed, and if they do, I don't know if we can see it or not, but I'm sure you'll do it anyway. So we'll take on board Miss Jazz Lanka. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hey, how's everything there? Are you doing okay today?
Yes, I'm doing fine. All good, I'm in quarantine like everyone, so I'm try to
Yeah.
do my best to
So,
occupy myself.
mhm. Right. So how has been the quarantine for you? Because I know it's been about a month or more than a month that everybody has been in quarantine. So how are you holding up with the entire lockdown situation? What do you think about it?
For me, it's not a real, I'm not really afraid of that. Quarantine is not a problem because I like
Hmm.
to occupy myself. I do painting, I do lots of things. I play
Hmm.
pianos. I
Hmm.
train myself, Uh, I do like everyone. I look at Netflix or Disney Plus or all that, and I think it's a good thing because we can stick to the essential things, like baking, cooking,
Hmm.
cooking
Hmm.
bread, something, really like the source of humanity. So no, I'm not really, I'm not fed up.
Okay. So you said self-training. Self-training, does that mean that you're working out and going to gym, or do you also have a ring nearby where you train?
Oh no, I'm training, all by myself in the room, in my
Mm-hmm.
room, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just do, crunch, burpees, uh,
Mm-hmm.
some exercise, just to, still fit and still training myself. I know I don't have a ring in my, in my house, and I don't have a gym.
That would be so wonderful, right? Having your own drink in your own house. That'd be so wonderful.
Yeah, I don't have a garden too, I'm in a
Hmm.
apartment, so it's not easy. I can do it on my bed,
Yeah.
but it's not really safe.
Yes, of course. It's very funny where the entire wrestling community, with all the wrestlers and everything during the lockdown, they're all working out in their basements, in their homes, and they're doing so much, going taking time out to do other things, like we took time out to do the podcast. Like, if the days were that normal and everybody was doing what they were doing, probably this podcast wouldn't have existed either way,
Yeah,
because we had so many things to run with our own wrestling company and everything. So during this time we thought, why waste time, because we cannot perform in front of people. People cannot come out of their house. So instead, we will just go to their homes and present ourselves to them with Facebook Live. And we had our own performers on the podcast before. And I'm just letting you know. I'm sure people who watches our episodes on a daily basis or a weekly basis, they probably know. But just letting you, we had our own performers. We had people from Germany who were at podcast. The main reason and the essential and truly the soul of this show is to highlight, different regions uh, of the world where professional wrestling exists, and how it is different from us, how it is different from, say, like WWE or AEW. So coming back to you, so when did you start training for the wrestling? What year did you start?
In 2009, I was 16 or 17. And
Hmm.
before I did a lot of sports, like taekwondo or fencing competitions. And so I started to do wrestling with my brother, and he said to me,
Hmm.
it's sports, it's really creative, and you can do it. I think you're going to be great on it.
Hmm.
So I say, okay, but it's fake. I always say, but it's fake. And so I did
Don't say the F word. Don't say don't
yeah,
say the F
I
word.
know, and it's fake. And I tried to do, 4 hours of training, and then when I
Hmm.
put a first foot on the ring, in the ring, on the ring, and I did my first, bump, back bump. My breath. I was like, "Ugh,
Hmm.
okay, this is a real thing, real sports. Okay, I'm gonna suffer here, so I have to train myself. This is a real sport. Okay, so then I start to say to myself, I can do this. It's really cool. It's really, you can do your own character. It's a real business
Hmm.
sport,
Hmm.
and I kind of like it. And now this is not fake at all. We do a real bump. It's really, you have to train. So yeah.
This is yeah. It's also one of the most fascinating things about wrestling. What people don't understand, because the main narrative or the main idea is that it's fake. The wrestling wrestling
Yeah.
sports is fake. That's what they say. Yeah.
Mm,
But I'm sure that before you actually got into a ring and start taking bumps, once you start taking bumps, you realize it's not so fake. I mean,
no,
you have
I
yeah,
was so.
I understand. When you said you first took the first bump and then you realize it's not so easy, it
Mm,
almost happened to like everybody who's trying to do it. When we first started, and I remember the first day when we started taking bumps on it, we we also hit our backs to a level where we had to take 2 days off because we weren't doing it right, because we didn't have proper trainers to tell you how to
mm,
do it.
mm.
But that's how you start. I mean, once you have a passion for something, you just go. And in wrestling, if you don't have a passion, then you're definitely not gonna make it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but so when you started, did you started doing it at in a wrestling school? Do you have many wrestling schools there?
Yeah, I start in France because I live in France, and I start
Hmm.
with it's called APC. It's an association. It's a federation of wrestling, and I'm not in this
Hmm.
school. I'm not in this school now. I've changed, and we have a lot of association, a lot of wrestling enterprise. So I'm
Hmm.
not stick to one. I like to be on my own, like an indie wrestler, you know, and I fight in all
Hmm.
of the school.
Okay. Have you, in your time that you have been working so far, have you come across anybody that's pretty famous in the wrestling community, or have you worked anybody that went on to like join like NXT or so? Like, have you met anybody from the wrestling community who's a pretty famous one?
When I was just, a fan and doing my training in the ring at the beginning when I was 16, so I seen
Hmm.
some WWE shows. So then after the show, I saw
Hmm.
Jeff Hardy, Batista, all this famous guy. But at now I'm in the professional. wrestling. Uh, yeah, once I've fight against Yoko Bito. She's a great and famous Japanese wrestler, and it's called
Mm-hmm.
At the Stardom. She's wrestling at the Stardom, so it's a Japanese woman. She's really, really amazing. Um, one I have wrestled to. It's Amal, Emel, Emel.
Yeah.
Why I say her name? Because I've wrestled her, and now she's, one of the famous French wrestler. So we are not we're just a few girls, and she's the one
Mm-hmm.
who's, put the thing here. Like, okay. So I'm proud to say her name because she's really talented.
Yeah. Well, while working with people from Japan, the one thing that's very not hard, but the people from Japan, they basically just they take everything very seriously. Like if
Yeah,
you like for example they're doing chops or they hit you
yeah,
anything, they just
yeah.
hit you for real.
For real, for real. And they don't have shoes. They're,
Yeah.
and so when their kick are more. You take the kick on your face, it's just off. Okay.
Yeah. I remember seeing a documentary from it was somebody from WWE. It was a long time ago, or it was probably Kenny Omega. Not sure.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
heard of Kenny Omega? Yeah.
yeah.
So Kenny Omega, one of his videos, he was just explaining what it is to like with people from Japan, and they take it very seriously. And they have this Japanese tradition. Before the match, what they do is to get each other fired up. They just slap each other really hard to get you in that that energy zone and that
That
passion.
mood.
So yeah, so Japanese people are in wrestling. They're pretty crazy what they do. There were also some crazy things that people in US do, but I don't encourage it. Like, have you heard of CZW?
Yeah,
Have you ever seen any match from CZW, like one of those death matches or anything? What do you think
yeah.
about that?
It's a bit too much. I think it's too. I'm not really
Hmm.
fan of that. Not the kind of fan.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling is at bits it is extreme, and it
Mm.
does take
So
a yeah, sometimes it's a bit extreme when the situation calls for it. Like if you're working with a person and your situation calls for having a hardcore match or like a street match or a TLC match, then it seems okay. But in CCW, every other match is a death match. They're hitting each other with the needles. They're hitting you with the tube lights and
yeah.
everything. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a bit over exaggerated, and I don't think many people appreciate that all that much. So if you ever got the chance to like if you were ever asked in your career, I'm sure that's probably not going to happen, but if you ever got asked in your career that all right, Jazz, you have this match and you're going to do these spots and you're going to hit him with the tube light or you're going to take a kneel, would you do it?
Oh, I don't know because I did it once a match, with a table and chair. That's okay for me. Table and chair,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
tube lights, and no, it's too extreme for
Hmm.
me, and I will say no because I'm not really fan of that. And no, I will say no.
Okay, I
Yeah,
messed up
really.
my light.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Oh, I think yours messed up too. What happened?
Oh,
Oh, we're
you
back.
see.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're back. Okay. So going back to the roots a little bit, I just wanted to take some time and discuss like how was your so you were born in Sri Lanka and then
Yeah.
moved to France, or you were born in France but from your parents are from Sri Lanka? How does it work?
No, I was born in Sri Lanka, but I was adopted by British people, Scottish, Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
and German. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cocktail. My family, it's cocktail. So I was adopted by British person. So
Okay.
they moved to
Mm-hmm.
France for job. My father was just for the job. He was a boss,
Mm-hmm.
and so I grew up in Paris first, and now I'm in the east south of France. In France, it's called Annecy, and
Okay.
and I'm not French because I took their nationality, so it's British. So with the Brexit,
Mm-hmm.
that it's gonna be, but
Okay. So it's kind of like a mixed plate because you're from Sri Lanka, your parents are British, and you're living in France.
yeah,
I think most interesting thing I've ever heard. So while you were growing up, and obviously as a kid, everybody watches wrestling on TV, whether it was WWE, it was WCW. So were you heavily into wrestling as a kid, or was it something? I think you mentioned that you got it into it later,
yeah.
but as a kid, did you watch wrestling?
No, the first time I saw a match, I was 8 years old, and we were in Scotland because for a family
Mm-hmm.
thing. And with my
Mm-hmm.
brother, we watch that by night at the hotel, and he's bigger than me, and he told me, "Oh, look, this is wrestling," but I didn't understand what it is, but I remember it was the Undertaker, and when he do,
Mm-hmm.
his entrance, I was,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I don't understand a thing, but I understand that. This is a man who have charisma. This is so cool. And I was 8 years
Mm-hmm.
old. But after, I was, okay, it was just a show. I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
a thing. I just remember The Undertaker took off his hat and his eyes
Mm-hmm.
up, and it's just the thing I have memorized. And then at 16 years old, my brother, oh, do you remember, now we have a French federation, wrestling federation, so hey, can we give a try? So I said yes. And then after, when I like the wrestling sports, now I start to watch WWE, TNA. After, I mean, I was a real fan, but really after. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I never grew up with a family who loved that. No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's I think one of the good things that while you're growing up and you start. One thing I'll tell you, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I've had I think two female. Yeah, you're the second one. And for some reason, I'm expecting when I'm asking this question about watching as you grow up and who do you idolize and something like that. You're I've asked many female wrestlers before the same question and they have the same answer. Some for
Uh,
some odd reason they don't have any female wrestlers as something that idolizing. They always have like either it's John Cena or it's Undertaker. Why is it like that?
I'm not sure I understand well your question. Do you ask me why I like The Undertaker? No? Can you repeat the
No, no,
question?
I'm asking. There was another guest. Yeah, we
Yes,
had
I
another
saw.
guest yesterday. Yeah, yeah. So when I asked her if she had any female wrestler as an idol that got her into the wrestling, she didn't have any female wrestler as an idol.
Okay. Mm.
I remember she said something about Edge or no Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Her idol is Rey
Okay.
Mysterio.
Mm.
Now, now with you it's Undertaker. So is it like you guys don't follow through, or is it like once you get into the wrestling, then you get into like, okay, now there are female wrestlers there, and I like this female wrestler, and whatnot. So, any was there any point that you liked any female wrestler from the wrestling world, like WWE or any of
I think, when I start, so 16 years old, I remember that all show, WrestleMania and all that, the
the company?
boys was, here, and the girl were here. I mean, And the people, I mean, the business won't let the women, start, do the opening or do the main events.
Yeah.
So so
Hmm.
it's, I think that's why girls like us, I mean,
Hmm.
like me, they focus on boys because the TV show us just boys. I mean, this is
Hmm.
not really equal. But now in 2020, I think that women now have a proper main event, have a
Hmm.
proper show, and now we are starting to see them, see the talent, see that they can do
Hmm.
like the boys. And I think the television put the women more equally, equal with the boys. So
Hmm.
I think before it was just not equal. The TV show was just boys and not really women. A woman was just
Hmm.
like, okay, we're gonna take we're just take the hair and we are beautiful, we are divas. And the boys, it was just like 20 minutes of match. It's so.
Yeah,
And
not much,
now
not
and
much.
now we
Yeah.
now we now it, this is equal. So now we can say, oh, I love Amber Moon, or oh, I love Alpha Female, she's based in Germany.
Hmm.
But before, no, before, yes, I loved Shawn Michaels, Edge, The Rock, but never female. Lita, Lita, maybe. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very unequal back in the days. Like
Yeah,
you had a lot of male wrestlers and everything. I would
yeah,
say the only two prominent wrestlers that I remember growing up was either Trish or Lita.
yeah,
That's
and
about it.
me. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there was I think Stephanie was also working as a wrestler, but it was more or less based
like
on, okay,
yeah,
I'm the boss's daughter, I'm gonna win
yeah,
every match and stuff like that. It
yeah.
was kind of a gimmick, but most of the people, like most of the women talent back in the days were only like eye candies, and they were doing like all these
Yeah,
uh crazy
Stacy
swimsuit matches and
Keibler.
whatnot.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, so
very
I think
just body,
yeah,
just the
I
body.
think we have to. I have to. I think we have to thank the kids for that, because the kids got the mature rating banned, and then once the mature rating bans, all of those stupid things started. They stopped everything, and then the women, they started focusing them more into the matches. So I think we have to thank kids for that.
Sure, sure. I'm really glad that the women now are, really like the boys, and we
Mhm.
can see them. I mean, we can see them on the TV, right? Like the
Yeah,
male, and I'm glad that the women are, on the main events like Sasha Banks and all that. I think it's a great idea, and they're really talented. They're beautiful, but also talented.
okay. So speaking of equality a little bit, what do you think about the intergender matches?
It's funny because I have a YouTube channel and I did a subject on the
Mhm.
on a mixity, like women wrestling with boys. So
Oh, you had a match, or you made a video about it? What was?
both. I had lots of mixed match, and I
Mhm.
did a video on this subject
Mhm.
because before it was only women with women, boys with boys. And when I
Mhm.
start, we were 2 or 3 girls. So I was training by boys, and my first
Mhm.
matches were with boys. And a few months ago, I did a mixed match again because I have a partner, and my partner is a man.
Mhm.
It's called Machete.
Mhm.
And I was the only girl, and we did a tag team, and we were against 2 boys. So for me, it's not a problem, and I encourage. I mean, I'm really glad that in 2020 we can put that, in the on the show. I think it's a great idea, and no, I'm not against that.
So do you think there is any? any way that when you're doing intergender matches, sometimes it gets tricky to do an intergender matches because you're working with a man as compared to working with a woman?
No, no, they can, boys can put us on a certain level, you know,
Hmm.
they can put us on the light, So no, I mean, for me, in my experience, I don't feel, I don't feel a difference when
Hmm.
I wrestle against a man or a girl. For me, it's not different at all. Only the
Okay.
body,
Because
but not the wrestle
okay,
thing.
have have you heard of is a great performer? Have you heard of Candice LeRae?
Uh, no, not no. I don't think.
Okay, well, she was an independent wrestler before. Now she's working with NXT. Her
Yeah.
husband is Johnny Gargano. If you've heard of Johnny Gargano
Okay.
from NXT.
Just by name, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was this very funny story between them. So they were obviously they were dating at that time, and they
Mm.
had the intergender match. So it was him against his fiance. So he proposed during the match. It was one of the best things I've seen in the intergender match. He proposed his girlfriend while they were having a match.
So cool. I love. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and she said yes. So she said yes, and they kissed, and he schoolboy her, and he pinned her.
This is a love story.
Yeah. So I think this is probably the creative ways that I've seen to propose anyone when you're fighting them and propose during the match. One of the best things. So I brought up Candice LeRae because she also did a lot of intergender matches in I think it was PWG. It was Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. It
Yeah.
was one of the independent companies in the US. I don't know if it's operating anymore, but she used to do this handicap matches against the Young Bucks, which and it was one of the goriest matches. Like they were pretty hardcore matches that she used to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that we're doing that during the. So if it comes to have a chance, because I've this is live basically, if you didn't know, and we have so many people asking questions, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to all of them. So uh, the most questions I have from our viewers so far is that would you be ever willing to come to Pakistan and work with us in REW?
I mean, why not? Yeah, I'm here, to for me it's an evolution, I'm not stick to France. I love to
Hmm.
wrestle international. I love to wrestle in Germany. In
Hmm.
Pakistan, I never did a show in Pakistan. I mean,
Hmm.
if it's going well, it's doing, I mean, if it's with respect, why not?
Hmm.
I mean, I love culture, different culture. I think I can,
Hmm.
learn a lot of culture of Pakistan. So really, why not? I mean,
Have
I
you
will be
have you ever
pretty
heard
glad.
about have you ever heard about Pakistan before, or if you did, how did you come to know about the country?
Yes, I've heard. One wrestler that I know, Mila. She did a show at Pakistan. I know Tom LaRufa aussi.
Okay.
Tom LaRufa did a Pakistan show, and I never thought there were plenty of school. I don't know how many you are, but no,
Mhm.
I knew that Pakistan. I mean, the wrestling was in Pakistan too. So no, but no, I never knew. There were a lot of. I thought it was just one school in Pakistan. I don't know if
Mhm.
you are the only. I thought you are two, no? Two school?
Uh, in terms of the people who are actually active and working, there are three
Ah,
in the entire country. So two are in the same city, one is in another city.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I
and
thought.
you can say we're kind of getting started very soon. We did quite a few events back in the days, and then we took a small break. So now we have a great roster. We have about 20-24 people, and they're all being trained right now. So after this whole lockdown situation is
Yeah.
ended, then we're gonna have the probably the biggest event we ever did in the wrestling history in Pakistan. We have a lot of things planned. Um, our company, we have two champions in our company so far. We have
Mhm.
a REW World Heavyweight Champion, and then we have REW Asian Heavyweight Champion.
Mhm.
We had this great show in Nepal, and our performer Kobo Brandon, he won the Asian Championship in Nepal. And when you were describing your interest in the intergender match, he just challenged you. If you see on your screen, he challenged you
Yeah.
for the Asian Championship.
Yeah, I read that. Let's have a first ever intergender match. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and he's a big scary dude. I tell you,
Yeah,
he's
I saw him
probably one.
on photos.
Yeah, he's probably one of the very few people who are very talented in the industry. We have, um, I'd say, like, I want to include myself too. Okay, but I'll just include myself too. Yeah, but I haven't done that many matches that Kovu has done. I've done mostly behind the scenes work in the promotions and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm the guy who's trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Like when the person's coming out, his actual theme song is playing, because God knows that happened. Like somebody's coming out and somebody else's theme song is playing. So we
Oh yeah.
we had that. Have you ever had anything like that done before? Like any issues, any blunders like that during the production?
I mean, plain problem. Yeah. A lot of time. You are in the city. You're playing well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
your flight went well, and you are in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and you call, and you are just at the airport waiting for someone to pick you
Mm-hmm.
up.
Okay, but in terms of like problem, I'm not sure if I read anywhere about this about you, but was it ever a time where during a match or during anything that you got injured while wrestling?
Once I was young. I mean, I'm young, but I was really young. I think 17 or 18, and I did a match
Mm-hmm.
with a girl. I did a hurricane runner,
Mm-hmm.
but the I think my leg kicked a bit too much the neck of the girl, and she's just boom. She's kaput. She was out. So I was a bit afraid, but now me, I never have injuries, but my knee are very, yeah, very painful because once I did a suicide dive. I love that
Mm-hmm.
move, suicide dive. I still do
Yeah.
that move, but once I did it, the person, I mean the girl wasn't able to pick me, so I was doing my suicide dive and boom, my leg in I mean, on the floor, and it
Yeah.
was painful.
Oh, did you go head first, suicide dive, and landed on the
Yes,
floor?
yeah, yeah. So I did head first, but I, start to roll a bit, and
Yeah.
it's my leg that was
Wow.
sore, and
Did
yeah,
you get hurt bad? Like I'm sure your knees must have, or not
yeah.
your knees, your elbow must have hurt, right?
No, no, not my elbow, but my
Mhm.
knees. Yeah, were that is very painful. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar thing happened here. It's one of the matches where we're having a tall guy, and he's pretty tall, and he's going after a small kid kind of guy,
Mm.
and that basically that small dude, he's currently with us. He's also in the live feed. So he was supposed to do I think he was trying to do a body slam from the top rope,
Yeah.
and that other
Okay.
he that other tall dude was supposed to catch him like Mark Henry used to do, and he was
Yeah.
supposed to catch him. But as he jumped, the other dude got scared and he moved away. And so that was
The head on the floor.
no, he not had on the floor, but he
Okay.
did manage to cover it.
Oh yeah,
Luckily,
all right. Yeah.
yeah, he did manage to cover it because the distance from the top rope to the floor was not all that great. So
Mm,
he did manage, but it's just one of the things that in professional wrestling, if you're not sure, if you're not certain about anything, if you're feeling iffy about anything, then you shouldn't be doing it at all because
yeah. Yeah.
when you wrestle somebody, you're basically putting your life in their hands, and
And the
they're
life
doing
of
the same.
opponents too.
Yeah. It's the same thing with both ways. So
Yeah.
and it was about 2.5 years ago that happened, and after that we just made mandatory for everybody. Like if you're doing like top road dives, or if you're doing
Mm,
suicide dives or anything like that, it's very mandatory that you practice it all that much because suicide dive is one of those things where if you botch it, then you're pretty much your face is all crapped up,
yeah.
and it's one of the things. So speaking of suicide dive, what are some of your favorite wrestling moves to do?
My favorite. I love the Hurricane Runner. I think it's pretty. I think it's cool.
Mm,
Like the Avengers, you know. I like the SOS of Kofi Kingston. This is my finish.
mhm.
The Sally
SOS.
Davis song too.
What was it SOS
SOS.
just turned to the his other finisher? I can't remember the name of his finisher right now. Trouble in Paradise, is SOS the same as Trouble in Paradise?
I think it's yeah. I think it's the same. You know, you take your
Mm.
opponent, you have to roll, and
Yeah.
your opponents have to bump back bump. So
Okay. And your favorite wrestling moves that you cannot do or you're not allowed to do that you would love to do?
shooting star press.
Shooting star press. Why you cannot do that, or you're not allowed to do that?
No, I'm allowed, but I mean, I would love to know how to
Hmm.
do it and to do it.
Hmm.
But no, in France, we are allowed to do a lot of things. I mean, I never worked with people who said you can't do that. I mean, I
Hmm.
never saw that. So no, I am allowed to do anything.
Yeah, I used to do shooting star press, but then I stopped wrestling for some time. It's very hard. Trust me, it's very hard to
Yeah,
pull off.
yeah.
And unless you're using both hands, because when I used to do shooting star press, I was just doing it with one hand.
Without just yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you have to do with both hands right up, and for some reason I couldn't use both hands, so I could only use my right hand to just give my entire body that
Yeah,
propel to turn upside down. So
sure, yeah.
uh, yeah, and at times I landed on my left hand too with it, but then I learned how to do it. So unless you're doing both hands, just a tip, like in case if you
Yeah,
ever
thanks
do
for
it,
the tips.
yeah, we gotta use both hands. So I just wanted to touch base with you, like in terms of like your name Jazz Lanka, and how you are inside the ring, and how you have this entire thing as being the warrior, and you take away, as you put it, that you take away people's soul. And so what is the motivation behind this, or is it something that you always wanted to do, or is it something that you got the inspiration from? What is the story behind it?
Now, when I start in 2009, I was
Mhm.
called Maid Capone. Capone.
Mhm.
I was called that. And I was just a pop girl, you know, I was just dancing. I was really, you know,
Mhm.
masculine way, you know, just dancing and not
Mhm.
a, a glimpse of charisma. And when I stopped, like
Mhm.
I told you in 2011, I start to say
Mhm.
to myself, all right, I don't like made Capone. I don't like my charisma. I don't like. I'm not original at all, and I'm not feminine at all. So
Mhm.
I started to work a bit on my character. And in 2015, when I started to do again,
Mhm.
I wanted to change my name to Jazz Lanka. So a promoter helped me to find the name Jazz,
Mhm.
because he said to me, you know, Jazz because it's short, and it's and when you are in the ring, you really, you know, like dancing and all that. So
Mhm.
why don't you call you Jazz? And Lanka because a last name it's cool, and Lanka for Sri Lanka. So I said,
Because you're
Jazz
from
Lanka.
Lanka.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
from Sri Lanka, so that's why. And the character, no, in 2015, I was like Pocahontas. I was like, you know, just a girl, an Indian girl with, I never, I, I was a bit, you know, lost in my
Mhm.
character. And
Mhm.
Jaslanka, um, I want to do like a voodoo character. In
Yeah.
2016, 17, I was like a voodoo character. And then I said to myself, no, I want to be face, not eel, face. And voodoo's, it's African way. It's
Mhm.
not, it's not me. So, and voodoo is not a great thing. Voodoo is, you know, eel. So I said to myself,
Yeah.
no, okay, you have to forget voodoos. What do you like to be? What do you want to be? I want to be a soldier, a warrior, and I love souls, you know, negative souls and positive souls. I love that. I love spirits. So I said to myself, hey, why you are
Mhm.
not a soldier, and you're waiting
Mhm.
for the spirits command you, and you just do what they want. You are just a soldier who, you know, in fact, take the souls and fight them and hunt them and put them on the right way. You know, just I'm the good one, and I'm just I was inspired. I mean, don't
Yeah.
laugh, but I was inspired by Rafiki and the Lion King.
No, I'm not laughing.
So I saw. I mean, I said I want to move like him. I want to speak like him. He's
Mhm.
positive. He's, you know, he know what he's doing. And I said, yeah, Rafiki, it's Jazlunga. And you know,
Rafiki reminds me of the boogeyman from SmackDown. It's
yeah. Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit,
but
a little.
it's a
Let
bit
me tell you.
it's a bit he's a bit ill.
Yeah,
You know, you have a
yeah, yeah.
gesture
Let's
like this, it's very, you
yeah,
know, really
yeah,
positive.
yeah. But let me tell you, if we ever, if we stay on good terms, and if we uh, get to get the honor to call you here and have you perform with us in REW in Pakistan, keep the voodoo thing. People love black
Mm,
magic. It,
yeah, I know that.
it's
But for the
I know
face
it's a
character, I don't think this is a good thing for a face character. You know, the voodoo thing.
yeah,
I
no,
can do the voodoo
definitely,
thing,
yeah,
but it's gonna be I'm gonna be ill.
yeah, yeah. No, no, just letting you know that
Mm.
some people, how they are very weak-minded. They would just believe anything that you tell them. Yeah, that's apparently most of the women. Not most, but a very, very crude minority. And
Yeah.
black magic is like really big here, big. So if you ever come to the turn where you have to do a face turn where you have to become a heel,
Yeah.
just keep the
Yeah.
voodoo thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll shoot a promo for you in the graveyard or something just to give you more heels and kind of thing. So that'll be awesome. Like if we ever get to meet and work together, that'll be awesome. Like I'm just talking to you and we're very into the conversation, but I'm telling you, like in the live feed, like in the comments, that that championship that you were thrown, that for the REW, for the Asian Championship that our champion offered you, they're just going
Mm.
crazy over that right now.
Hmm.
So everybody wants to see it now.
Now I have to do
Yeah.
it. Is that what you say?
Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. The how like it's so rare. Like you because you're working in France and we're here. So that's one of the wonders of the internet. Like how like it wasn't probably if it wasn't for the lockdown, we wouldn't have met you, right? Well, it's so crazy how things are right now.
Hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
I was really surprised and shocked when you
Yeah.
asked me to do a broadcast because I said to myself, "Whoa, Pakistan! I'm in France. How Pakistan come to me in France? How they know
Yeah.
me?"
Yeah. 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 And now we know. All right.
And
So Jasper, we are a bit low on the time. Unfortunately, the duration we have is approaching. So before we go, I do this little thing. It's called rapid fire round that I do with every guest. So
okay,
we're gonna do a rapid fire round with you too. And you don't have time to think. You just have to give your answer right away.
okay.
So come on, let's warm up. Come on, you can yeah, let's warm up because you don't have time to think. Right. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So rapid fire round. Let's start. Question number one, and again, you don't have time to think. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm
All
hot.
right. All right. I'm just gonna give you names, places, words. So just tell me what you think about it. Okay.
Okay,
All right. The Undertaker.
charisma.
Lucha Lucha Libre Wrestling.
Mexican.
Working in other countries as professional wrestler.
Germany.
All right. If it ever comes to terms, WWE or AEW?
AEW.
Women matches for all time that your entire career or intergender matches for the entire career?
The second one.
The second one. Okay, great. Okay, now if you ever get a chance to meet somebody from W because I'm going after WWE a lot because that's basically the trademark for everything. If you ever get a chance to work uh, with anybody from WWE, who would be?
Ember Moon.
Amber Moon. You two look like you do look like Amber Moon a little bit now that I think of it.
You are not the first one who tell me that. So. But I like her.
I didn't see that before. Now you mentioned Amber Moon. Now I can see a little bit of Amber Moon and yeah, she does like. I think you two would have a great match. What kind of match do you think you would have with Amber Moon? Is it like a singles match or any special match that you would have with her?
Yeah, single match. Single match. Or maybe with, table and chairs. Oh, it's gonna be great. Could be great.
Tables and chairs. I'm sure she'll love tables and chairs, man. She loves that extreme sport. All right. Final question. Final question. Uh, when would you win your first win world? Okay, I think it's a rhetorical question because we all know that you're gonna win the world title either way. So I think the last question would be when would you come to Pakistan?
Sorry? What did you say?
When would you be when would you come to Pakistan? Because apparently we have a lot of people who want to see you here.
Soon, soon as possible.
All right, great. And you already have a title shot here because I'm working in the company and I don't have a freaking title shot.
I had a title one when I was
Hmm.
younger, but now no, no. I hunt that. I would love to have a
Okay.
title.
Okay. Yeah. I'll send you a photo of our Asian Championship. It's a beautiful title.
Mhm.
I would love to hold it one day. And our World Heavyweight Championship title is also beautiful title. But the
Mhm.
Asian title is more what something that I would like to carry around. And
Yeah.
with that being said, I we have actually unfortunately reached the end of our episode.
Oh,
It's crazy how time flies by when you're talking to somebody who has the same passion for the same thing as you do. So
yeah.
how did you enjoy it? Did you like everything with the episode?
Yeah, really good. I loved the questions. It was really pleasant, and I yeah, like you said, flies go by. So it was really great,
Yeah,
really
time definitely
interesting.
goes by, and if we yeah, and if we ever get to do another one with you, if you ever have time, it'll be great to have you back on the episode.
Oh, I will be really pleased. Mm.
Okay. All right. Well, Jess, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast of awesomeness. And we really wish from the entire team of Revolution and Eastern Wrestling you a best in luck in your career. And
Thank you.
wherever you go, wherever you work, you will get the most success. And I'm sure we'll see you in REW very soon, in
Yeah.
Pakistan very soon, when the time comes. And just best of luck and keep up the good work. And thank you for joining us today.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
All right, thank you, Jess. Thanks. Bye, bye, everybody.
Bye.